Did you ever meet the guy that made the digital pickle? Do you know who I'm talking about? Or are you familiar with such a magical device?
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember who he was. I would love to find out because I want one. So if anybody ever watches this and knows the magical young man that digitizes toys, he made a digital pickle and he let me borrow it. And I got to play with his pickle for a while, but then I had to give it back. I'm going on an adventure.
Well, yes, we're on a very magical adventure right now. So, I guess I'll introduce you. I wrote a little intro up.
Really? Wow, I can't wait to find out how I'm going to be introduced.
Oh, it's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. I'm trying to say epic less. Do you think epic is kind of one of those words that's not, it's a little overused?
No, I just hate words that aren't really words unless they're like intentionally nonsense, because then that's fun. Like hella just makes me no. Oh, what's the really gross one?
Hecka.
I don't even want to say it. I just remembered. I hate the word so much. I don't even want to say it because I feel like if you record me saying the word that makes me cringe more than any other word ever, it's going to be used against me.
I'll make a viral video out of it with auto-tune. Can you tell me the word? Tell me the letters.
There's an X in it where it shouldn't be. It's not. Ugh.
Is it taint?
Yeah. Oh no, I like that word.
Is it fuzzy nutsack?
Oh no, I like that word too.
Oh, is it fire? This is fire.
No, because these are all real words.
Is it lit?
No.
Can you tell me the first letter?
It's a C. And it ends with an X, and it's not a real world word.
Chillax.
I hope it's not in the dictionary.
It's chillax. Oh man, I'm just gonna chillax here with some Netflix.
I will hang up on you, and then that will be it. It'll be the shortest podcast you've ever done.
Well, that makes me sad, but it will be easy to edit. So there's that silver lining.
That word makes me sad. So
edit?
No.
I was like, she hates edit. She hates that word.
I do not. No, I don't. So you're going to introduce me or what? And then do I get to introduce you?
Sure, why not? There's no rules here.
I wasn't prepared for this. Gosh, I really wish I'd written something.
No, it's fine. Nobody's prepared except me. And I'm only kind of prepared because I kind of over prepare and then with the intention of just abandoning most of it.
Okay.
But yes, welcome to the EJM podcast number 3. I'm Eric. This is my podcast. This is my guest Lezel today. She's an accomplished artist and a multi-talented, multi-instrumental musician. I know you play at least 2 instruments, maybe more.
So many. And starting tomorrow, the bass.
That's so cool. So yes, I would like to welcome Lezel to the podcast.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to cue some applause, some fake audience applause. So yeah. But before we get into this magical, dynamic podcast, I just want to encourage everyone watching to hit up that subscribe combo because it gets us into the good old algorithm and it also helps deliver my content into your video screens. So I have other types of content other than this kind of stuff like free music lessons and deep synth dives, as well as some performances. Anyways, I just thought I'd get that little quick plug out of the way so we can have some fun. Starting now.
And if you watch all his videos, you get to see how beautiful his hands are. Eric, I would say that that's one of my favorite things about you. You have very beautiful hands. You must exfoliate.
I try to do as much as I can. It doesn't always pan out, especially this time of year. It gets a little dry in the winter, but I'm working. I'm trying to do better, That's
all you can do is try.
So, but yes, but my hands aren't as lovely as you or your face, for that matter. So, see what I did there? Like how I turned that around.
Oh, that's very kind. Yes.
Okay. So my first question is, how do you get a name like Lezel? Is that your birth name?
No, but I can't let you know all my secrets.
It's the first question.
I didn't choose it. Had I been allowed to pick my name, I'm pretty sure that I would be Rainbow Popsicle Magic Acorn Zappa.
You'd be a Zappa.
Oh, definitely. And Popsicle would be in there somewhere. Yeah. That's why you don't let children choose their own names, because I would be
You'll get a lot of Tootsie Rolls and Pixie Sticks. I don't know. I mean, like, I had friends in middle school who kind of just decided they were going to name themselves. Got frozen for a second. Didn't you have friends in middle school and high school that just, like, they just name themselves for whatever reason? They're like, I'm now this. And you're like, I can't. You're not supposed to name yourself. Like, that's against the rules or something.
I don't see why not. I think it would actually be really delightful if that was some rite of passage. Like, you turned 18 and you had a naming ceremony, and you, at that point, chose your name. I don't know what your children or what your parents would call their children up to that point. But if that was just a thing societally we did, you reach adulthood, you choose your own name. I think that'd be beautiful.
See, this is why we're such good friends, is because every time I think something's asinine, you like totally open my mind up to why it's a good idea. Lezel, we're Freezel.
Shoot.
What's going to happen? Are we going to be freezing it up?
Am I sitting too close to my refrigerator? Is that the problem?
I don't know, man.
Is it causing the great freeze?
I hope it's just going to be a passing phase.
Okay. Well, if not, then I don't know. Whatever.
We'll just roll with it. And I'll edit it. I'll edit it in a good way where it's not, unflattering. How's that sound?
I can't imagine anything with either of us being unflattering, because we're both so goddamn delightful. And then you put us side by side, and then with our powers combined, magic.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
So you play bass, you play drums, piano. What else? Organ.
Accordion. I don't have an organ. I don't have room for one, but I really like some organ jams. Tambourine. I have, I think, 4 tambourines. I have a recorder. I stole it from my elementary school in 4th grade. It's beautiful. It's blue, sparkly. Yeah.
We could have a recorder jam later.
It looks a lot like that.
Nice. That's so cool. I'm glad you're not just stuck on one instrument. There's so much musical beauty to explore.
I just always want to do everything that I can. And then once I've figured it out, then I'll move on to something else. And so I don't know. I don't know what my next thing will be. But would you like to hear about my spectacular musical project?
F yeah. And for the kids, that's fuck yeah.
Thanks for clarifying. Okay, so I I think I've told you about this, but it's so hard for me to present it seriously, and I apologize because it is actually very serious. So it is me and my spectacular one-man band of me playing the accordion, the drums, the tambourine, and the guitar. And my original plan was not to have any bass in it, but starting tomorrow, that might change, and then I'll throw in some bass. The accordion was kind of going to have the substitute of the bass because you can use it in that way rhythmically with the deep notes. So my project is called
I did not know that.
Oh, the more you know. blahblahandthehahas, and it's just me. So I guess I'm blah blah, and then my alternate characters in costume playing all the other instruments are the ha-has. I don't know. And it is psychedelic surf rock. And my first song I'm working on probably will be the title of the album, and it is Psychedelic Aha, music to make you shake your tatas.
Can I be a ha-ha?
You can absolutely be a ha-ha.
Woo!
But what is the most ridiculous instrument that you play?
Ridiculous?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does the skin flute count?
Yeah.
Was that not good? That was a bad one.
No. No, it was wonderful. All of the thoughts that came through my head, I realized I didn't want to say out loud.
No, that's why you just say them. It's great.
Okay.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. I know. I'm trying to edit less, self-edit less, and just edit later if it's terrible.
I just get a little worried because what if blah blah and the ha-has really takes off, and then someday the things that I said when I wasn't famous and insignificant and didn't think that mattered and nobody would ever see and could never be used against me are used against me.
Oh,
like,
no, that's fear. That's fear. We can't listen to fear.
Sometimes though we should.
Yeah, I mean, it's useful. Fear is useful, so
it can be, yes.
No, I know what you mean though, and I struggle with that a lot because yeah, obvious reasons. I'm sitting here talking to people now. This is my third one, and yeah, I don't want to be like, saying some crazy shit, and then yeah, it's like there's this whole thing where you have to be super like buckled up and like self-editing all the time because you never know someone's gonna be like triggered or have hurt feelings, and then try to like shut down whatever it is you're doing, which is gosh, that's a lot. So yeah, I just try to forget about it and have fun, and if so far so good, nobody's gotten mad yet.
I think if you're just a good person, then it's fine. You'll eventually upset someone. I actually, I offended enough people with some art that I had one time in an art show that they asked me to take it down because they got so many complaints about it. And the lady was so sweet. She felt really bad. She bought me a cake, an apology cake, for making me remove my art.
It's like she had to apologize for making you apologize or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I feel that's
So
kind
many
of the
levels.
most validating thing ever, though, as an artist, if what you've done can upset people in some regard, because that's part of the point, right? To like stir up emotion. My point was to make people happy and laugh, and I clearly missed that mark with my nipples and bleeding donuts. Not my nipples. I really like to paint nipples.
Yes, let's talk a little bit about your artwork because
and nipples.
And let's talk about some nipples. Let's talk nips.
Yeah, everybody has them. At least one.
I know one guy who has 3.
Ooh. I have this mole on my stomach that I always pretended was my third nipple because it's quite a nipply protuberance. But it's not. It doesn't technically count. But I like to pretend it is.
Nice. Your husband's a very lucky man.
He is, yes. Yes, and he knows this. How many nipples do you have, Eric?
I just got the 2 right now. I'm, working towards a third. Putting my head down. Trying to put in some overtime, get that third nipple going.
I can't wait. I wish you the best in that endeavor, and I believe in you.
Yeah, so when I met you, it's a cat.
I'm alone, but something moved. The ghosts, the nipple ghosts heard me. I hope not. No, I can't go through that again.
It's a ghost. Oh yeah, we have like a thing where we talk about stories about what's that smell. You could tell the rat story, but I just gave it away, so maybe not.
Yeah. What's that smell? It was a rat. It took 6 days to find this out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're 3 for 3 in what's that smell stories for this podcast. Side note, I'm like kind of fading away here. I'm trying really hard to keep the energy up, but
is this too late at night for you? Is it past your bedtime, Grandpa?
It shouldn't be, but I did get like my second dose yesterday, which I think might be making me a little tired, which but it's all good. I got my green tea. I'm going, I'm rocking. I might be a little slow on the take, but on the uptake.
Space tea.
Woo. Yeah, I ran out of coffee today and I tried to go to the store and buy some more and it was closed because of Easter.
Oh, right, it's a holiday.
But what is it? What are we celebrating? Like plastic eggs? I don't get it.
Zombie baby Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the thing we're all celebrating is just buying plastic eggs and hiding them. Unless you're Catholic, then you actually have some stuff going on, some real legit celebrations to do.
I ate eggs.
So yeah, let's talk about some of your art stuff. So when I first met you, you were doing a lot of art. You're having tons of shows and you were painting on like a mad woman. And what's your kind of go-to medium as far as doing art and stuff?
I really like to paint with acrylics. I use this specific kind that simulates oils, so it has that beautiful, lustrous sheen. I like things that are shiny and as vibrant as possible, but it dries really quickly, so it's really easy to work with. And the cleanup is brief and great.
Have you ever used oils before, and how did that go?
Yeah, but not since like high school. I still have a bunch because they kind of last forever, but I just feel like it's more work than necessary. Since the technology of paint has advanced so far.
It really has.
Yeah.
And then, so you're mostly doing acrylic paints in the style of oils, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What about theme, subject matter? You said you got shut down in a certain showing.
My art's very cartoonish and very colorful, and I thought quite silly. But there were a lot of skeletons and nipples and a bleeding donut. It's a anthropomorphized donut with jelly oozing out in the place of blood. And I guess people thought that was upsetting.
What's nibbles? Don't like
faces on donuts. Nibbles.
Yeah, nipples? You said nipples. That's right. Nips.
The milk comes out of them.
I think you said nibbles. I was like, someone nibbled on a donut. That sounds like a pretty good idea.
Nipples, yes. You can milk anything if it has nipples.
Oh boy. So, okay, cool. So is there somewhere on the World Wide Web or the interwebs that someone could potentially go and look at these fine images? Or are we top secret Lezel?
Yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and have to file that one underneath the category of my secrets along with my real name.
Dude, come on, you gotta have some. You said, I thought you had a website. Or
I did. I let my website expire because I was lazy, I guess, and I wasn't painting a lot at the time, so I didn't think it was important. So I still have.
Oh, what about? Did you say you have a Tumblr?
Yeah, I still have my Tumblr account that has all my old artwork on it. Hasn't been updated in probably years. Yeah.
Okay, well, what if we could point people towards that? Is that a secret?
No, there's very beautiful things on there that I am very proud of. I get so shy and nervous about promoting myself in any way, which is silly because clearly I'm magnificent.
Yeah, we're gonna get you over that.
I know. That's why it's easiest for me to talk about my band because I feel like it sounds like a joke.
But it's definitely not a joke.
No, I'm very serious about it. And just the unfortunate thing is, since I'm doing it all myself, it takes 4 times as long to get anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'll be a haha, so maybe, I can help out.
So then I'm down to 3 times as long to get anywhere.
Yeah, only take like 3.6 times as long instead of 4.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, do you know what the Tumblr address is off the top of your head, or should I just Google it and put it in the margin?
Yeah, just do the work yourself.
Okay, that's my job. I'm here to do that stuff, so I'm cool.
It's ipackrattherad.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that name now.
Oh, and unintentionally, just because these are my favorite things ever, I have one of my little business cards. You probably can't see it, but my business card with pen, because I think that you should use things. They should be functional. I'm a big fan of functional nonsense. That's what the website used to be. ipackrattherad.com.
That's right. Now I remember.
That doesn't exist. Silly gregariousness and shenanigans, it says. Because I'm a big fan of silly gregariousness and shenanigans and who's its and what's its galore.
I like it a lot. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
Cool.
My other interests include cheese, time travel, warm socks,
long walks on the beach.
I feel like I am so darn fortunate that I found love young and got married and never had to participate in any way in online dating, because I just imagine the things that I would put down on perhaps a Tinder profile. I don't think that they would attract anybody, and if they did, they wouldn't attract the right kind of anybody.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
So I had every intention of making notes, and I made it so far as getting a pad of Post-it notes.
Oh,
and now it's just a list that sounds like nonsense.
Oh, you have a list? Let's hear it.
No, it's not helpful.
I know, let's hear it. Doesn't need to be.
No.
Can I get one? Is the theme of this this show like me trying to pry information out of you? Like,
oh, is that how it's feeling for you?
Tell me that, please.
Oh, no.
Will you go on an online date with me? Just kidding. No, I'm totally teasing. Of course.
I feel like I'm on one right now. Or a job interview.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Is it not fun for you?
No, I'm kidding. Okay. Is it not clear from the amount of giggles that you're receiving out of me that I'm having a good time?
I don't know, because sometimes you laugh and it's hard to tell what's going on. I'm like, well, I think she's enjoying it. does
my laughter sound insincere?
No, but sometimes people like laugh when they're nervous. So it's not like it's insincere. It's not necessarily an indication of joy, more of like could be anxiety. I'm not talking about you per se, but I've known people that when that was sort of how they deal with anxiety, they would laugh a lot.
That totally makes sense. I do laugh when I'm uncomfortable, and in uncomfortable situations that leads me to laughing. Usually the person feels like I'm laughing at them, and it comes across very rude, and it never goes well.
Oh, yeah, that sounds brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just makes them even more mad, which makes me more uncomfortable. And then I laugh more, and they think I'm laughing at them. And it's this vicious cycle. And that's why I can't work in customer service anymore.
That sounds like a real Pandora's box.
It really is. Yeah.
Well, hey, that's okay. Customer service isn't all it's cracked up to be.
I don't know who thinks that it is fun.
Speaking of fun, do you like my little red foamy thing?
I do. It's beautiful.
I bought a bunch of them. There's like all kinds of different colors. There's like red, blue, green, black. Actually, there's not black. There's gray though. So I went with red for today.
An excellent choice. Yes. I also wore red here today, so I feel like we're matching. Thank you.
We're matching with our fake British accents.
I was not trying to do an accent.
I was.
Oh, okay. That's how it came across at all.
Right-o, Governor, we're going to offend the Brits. Do you know what though? I always wanted to. I'm sure in the world of, if you thought of it, it's there, which is where we're at now as a society. That this already exists, but back in the day, my fantasy was to develop some kind of educational product that would teach you how to have a fake British accent or whatever accent you wanted, like could be Southern or whatever. Just because how fun would it be to like have a great British accent and then you could just drop it? It's almost like acting, I guess.
Yeah. And that's the one that you choose. If you got to have any accent you wanted, you'd go British.
Oh yeah, because there's all the different styles of British accent. You got the Northern Brits, the Southern Brits, East and West. You got Wales in there. Clearly, I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, but but we're also in the age of everything's offensive now, so I'm sure that product would fail, but it'd be fun for me.
Yeah, I picture it like what was it? The speak and say, where you turn the dial to the animal and then you pull the cord. But it would be like that with accents, or were you picturing something more high tech?
Like it'd be like Rosetta Stone for fake accents. Like it's say computer, and then be like computer.
Oh.
Be like, say shine your shoes, Governor. Shine your shoes, Governor.
I really want this to be a thing for you. I feel like you've been practicing.
I do. I practice in my head. I'm not super disciplined about it, but it's fun. It's a way to pass the time. We did some music exchanges, which is fun. It's always fun. It's like a new segment in my podcast where I give you homework. Basically, I'm like, here, listen to this album, and then we talk about it. And then you give me homework, and then I talk about it, or we talk about it. But we decided to go further this time and give each other lots of music.
I absolutely loved every moment of it last night. Thank you so much. Except for the very beginning of part of it. I definitely felt like, did I tell you at some point in my life how much I hate prog rock? and you were just sticking it to me, and you're like, yeah, here you go. Here, listen to some, because you have to. Because
I'm
I
sure that
respect
was
your
in the
authority.
back of my head when I sent that over.
Or you and Gabriel were in cahoots with one another, and somehow he helped you plot this against me, because as soon as it started, well, no, okay, so do you want to know what I'm talking about? And you know, but do other people need to know?
Yes, let's talk about what it is. What is it?
Yes.
I know, but what is it?
Yes.
Yes, I sent you Close to the Edge by Yes.
Isn't that how you pronounce the band's name? Yes.
Yes.
It's not something bizarre. It's not like yes. Yes. But that would have many more S's.
Close to the Edge by Yes. Was you weren't a fan, I take it?
I really don't like prog rock, and this has led to many heated debates with people, but
with dudes.
Most usually, what?
With nerdy dudes. Why don't you like it? It's amazing. What's wrong with you?
Well, according to a definition that I was given of what constitutes prog rock, the definition was it's music that's meant to be experienced with headphones on, because you have fun things like sonic bounce, where the sound moves across the headphones, which is a lot of fun. But when I think of prog rock, I think of these horrid screeching chord progressions played on the electric guitar, and they're always in the same key, and they sound the same.
So Fish.
And it makes me cringe. Yeah. Yeah.
You sound like you're describing a jam band.
I have a specific but I don't like it enough to tell you. I can't be like, oh yeah, this song by this band. I don't.
So you haven't
really
researched your opinion so much.
I just know every time I hear it, and it's this thing, and it's called prog rock, and it's gross to me. That's but fair. Also, I can recognize that it takes talent. I have many very talented friends, musicians, who play whatever genre very most excellently and talented. And thank goodness I actually like the music you play.
Oh, we're talking about me now?
Yeah, I'm gonna drag
How'd I get roped into this?
You're here. We're here together. Yeah. So thanks for making me listen to prog rock last night. And by thank you, I mean screw you. Dude, do you think the thumbs down is more polite than what you just did to me?
Yeah, but I was saying screw you to me. I was like, screw me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can flip yourself off as long as.
That's right. I can flip myself off. I don't need you to flip me off.
I don't want to.
Do you want to know why I sent that over to you?
I would love to know.
Honestly, that kind of music, that album in particular, just really reminded me of you. Is that the harshest compliment you've ever had?
No, because there were a couple moments in it that I really liked. The first song, out of its 18 or 28 minutes, it was around the 8-minute mark, and there was this moment, and I go, oh, I like this part, because I think that's when they started playing the organ. And as you may have noticed from the musical selections I sent you, that I'm a big fan of the organ. And there was one part that I did really like, but then he also kind of sounds like some strange combination of like Sting and Led Zeppelin.
Sounds about accurate.
Yeah? Okay. And then I did find out.
But also he has like no testicles. That's why he can sing so high.
Like he literally has none?
No, he has some, but metaphorically he doesn't. When I think of that music, I was like, oh, that music sounds kind of like Lezel's artwork to me, because it's like really fantastical and colorful and vibrant and lots of different movement and motion and just textures and patterns and this and that. So I was like, oh, I wonder what she'll think of this, because it totally kind of reminded me of your personality and just the way your artwork flows and all that stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know if you're bummed about that, but that was pretty much my motive there, my intention.
No, thank you. I actually like that. And after I listened to the album 3 times, and I think I will listen to more of their music out of curiosity. But also, what in the ever freaking fuck was that third one you sent me?
I thought you'd like it.
Oh, I did. I liked it so much that it took all of my self-control not to call you immediately, like 15 seconds into the first song, and be like, Eric, what? We have to talk about this right now. I can't wait until tomorrow.
All right, this is where the rubber really hits the road.
You son of a bitch. You didn't tell me we were doing costume changes.
You can take off your whatever and put on your whatever. I was getting hot.
I know, I was too. And I went to go put my pajamas on, and then I was like, wait, is that weird though if I come back wearing something different?
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, I'm all about weird. Let's get weird.
I'm a big fan of weird also very much as well. Yes. Hi, welcome back.
So we're talking about music that we listened to. And you hated Yes. And you liked...
Okay, no. I didn't hate it. There were moments that were difficult.
It's true.
It's okay. I probably shouldn't admit this when I'm being recorded, but can I tell you a really hard, embarrassing truth about myself? I've overcome it. I've grown. But back in my early 20s, I hated all classic rock and basically any music that had electric guitar solos, like Jimi Hendrix. And this just makes me so embarrassed for young me. I hated... What was wrong with me?
I mean, you grow and you like things that you didn't like before, and then you stop liking things that you did like before. That's just life, man.
Yeah. But now I just think like there was so much of my life just wasted, not appreciating some of the most glorious, spectacular, epic music that has ever existed. And perhaps if you are familiar with what my first tattoo is, then you know who my favorite band was.
How could
for
I
most
forget?
Of my life. Nobody that knows about it lets me forget, and I'm not saying that I regret the tattoo, because I absolutely do not. And if I make it 3 more years and don't regret it or wish that I hadn't done it, then my brother Russell owes me $100. We made a bet, and he was so convinced that I was going to lose and he was going to make $100 off me, which was a lot more money back then. But no, I'm going to make it, because it's part of how I feel about tattoos. Is it's not always going to mean the same thing to you, but it'll always be like a little treasure, a little part of your life and who you once were and what it meant to you then. And I don't think that, unless your tattoos are like racist, maybe, or gang related, kind of like that realm. But say you get and I don't have one, but imagine you have a dumb little butterfly tramp stamp or something, and you regret it someday, as you should. Well, no, you shouldn't regret it. You shouldn't be... No, I think I've already said too much.
I have 3 butterfly tramp stamps, by the way.
No, it's just whatever point you were in your life when you got that meant something really special to you, hopefully. And
I was a tramp and I wanted a stamp. and that's where I was.
And how is that now that you've changed, you said?
I'm just kidding. I don't have any tats. No tats.
You don't have any? Oh, you little delicate virgin flesh. For religious reasons?
Yep. I'm Buddhist.
I think Buddha would be fine with you having a tattoo.
And I'm the other one. Islam? I don't know.
Mormon?
Scientology? No, I don't know, man. I just never got one. I don't know why.
Okay.
Not cool. Not cool enough to get one. Not cool enough.
You're pretty cool.
So anyway, we're talking about Brainiac. Dude, one of my favorite bands.
Oh my god.
Brainiac.
Wow. Holy freaking fuck.
Yeah, they're kind of one of those super underrated bands that you know, they broke up because I think one of their guys passed away really tragically, but they were kind of in a car accident.
Or he was hit by a car?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember.
Sorry,
it was accidental. It was an accidental death, but it wasn't drug related or anything. But no, yeah, that's like one of those bands to me that's like very, very underrated and didn't quite break into the mainstream or anything, but their stuff is amazing. Super good. And I thought you would love it because it's like, it's kind of boisterous, kind of like your personality and kind of all over the map. So kind of like your personality and just the way you are. So I was like, it's kind of wacky. So I was like, I'm going to send that to Lezel. I think she'll really enjoy it. So tell me what you thought.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to me with this. As soon as I started listening to it, all I could think about is some of the music that I listened to in high school and how much I just would have adored it at that time. And then I started to think about how much I wish that we'd gone to high school together. Like if we'd known each other back then and we'd grown up together. And of course, like in my heart, yeah, you, me, always been together in my heart.
Yeah, bro.
But, you know, way back then, you could have played this for me and just blown my mind and helped me develop into such a more spectacular, cool person that perhaps wouldn't have this tattoo on her body that she does not in any way regret. Because, you know, the first thing it made me think of is the first time I ever heard soul coughing. The Can song, I think, about how many cans. And it just, I grew up listening to like Doris Day and Buddy Holly and Bobby Vinton. So really anything that would make my parents cringe kind of rocked my world. And
makes sense.
That's how I felt about that. It rocked my world. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you're among the disciples of Brainiac now.
I am, yes. The name, although initially I didn't recognize it as a word, clearly, because that's nonsense.
Because it's got numbers and stuff in it.
I'm a big fan of nonsense. But yeah, all their song titles are also like that. Are they trying to be difficult?
Oh yeah, totally. They're kind of one of those groups that are just completely from planet Mars doing their own thing and doing it quite well, may I add.
Yes.
It's like it's silly, but it rocks. It's like really rock and roll, man. Like it's like the kind of music you could totally mosh to, you know? It's like punk basically, but it's also super
complex.
It's kind of got some no wave, I guess, some angular-y kind of jingly jangly guitars, dissonance and stuff. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good stuff. I love that band.
I listened to it twice in the last less than 24 hours since you sent it to me. And so initially I didn't recognize the name of the band at all. I was like, I've never heard of these, but I also didn't recognize it as a word. But then I started to think about it, and there's some what connected for me is that they were from Ohio, and there's some documentary that a friend of mine told me about some band that no longer exists that was from Ohio. Is there a documentary about them?
Yeah, there's something on YouTube. I saw it.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure if it
Band?
got finished, but I know there was some kind of documentary thing being made about Brainiac. I think it got finished a few years ago.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to check, because if it is the same one, I would very much like to learn more.
Dude, one of my favorite things about that band is that it's completely its own thing. Like you look at the artwork and it's not trying to be punk rock, but it is somehow still, you know. And same goes for the music, but it's also very, it's in a way it's kind of polished and perfected, you know, like it's pretty rehearsed and well put together, well produced, even though it's gritty and kind of lo-fi sounding. All the performances are like flawless for the most part, at least to my ears. And yeah, even the artwork is like kind of got that sheen to it, not necessarily trying to be hi-fi artwork, but it just looks really cool. I don't know. Really good band.
So good. Thank you. Thank you for coming to me with this.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, cool. Well, you sent me some good stuff. All of the stuff you sent me was awesome. In the order, I feel like the order of you sending it to me each time, I liked it more and more. So the first thing you sent me was a band called Froth, which I thought was quite good. I thought it was a little on the, I think I've heard this before, but it's a different band side. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what band it is, because I guess full confession is I played recently. I played psych-rock for a couple years in a psych-rock band from Seattle, and really cool dudes. Great group of guys called Forest Ray, and Peter from Forest Ray was constantly showing me this psych-rock band, this psych-rock band. He's like, check this out, check this out, check this out. And I think I heard so much psych-rock that it just kind of like all started to blend together.
I can see that. Okay.
So I was kind of like, Froth is kind of in there for me. It's like all in there. It's good. It's really good, but it's also kind of just in that spectrum of psych. It's like hard to really like tell it apart from some of the other stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't even tell you what those bands are because I don't remember. So, anyways. But then you sent me Spiritual Warfare and the Greasy Shadows. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that band was really good. Their music was phenomenal. I wasn't a big fan of the vocals though. I don't know why. It kind of reminded me of this thing of like uh hipster preacher style, like like Fleet Foxes meets I don't know, like those bands from the commercials that go ayo ayo ayo, you know, those bands.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just the vocals, like the music was awesome. There was all this like crazy like auxiliary percussion, like bongos and conga drums and tons of textures, and like the music was really produced and produced well, may I add. But yeah, what did you think about that band? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Oh, well, my best friend sent it to me one night, and I'd never heard of them. And I had the band wrong. I thought the name of the band was Ad Hoc, which explains why I couldn't find it when I tried looking for it independently from a link she'd sent me. But just the first 15 seconds of it, I fell in love. And there could be no vocals and I would still love it.
That's how I felt. I was like, man, this is really good, really well put together music. It's hard to really describe. I think it was still kind of in the like psychedelic realm for sure. I mean, that's such a broad genre classification these days, but you know, lots of different tangents and pathways, and I don't know, Ty Segall and stuff like that kind of reminds me of that stuff. But yeah, the vocal, I was like, you know, it's fine. It's not my favorite, but that's okay. You can't win with everything, you know.
Right.
And then the last thing was my favorite for whatever reason.
That's my favorite too. I'm so sorry I didn't send that one to you first. I thought you weren't ready. I thought you weren't ready for it.
I wasn't
As the
ready.
night progressed, I realized that you were. I was like, you've always been ready for this. Here you go. But the most interesting thing was when you said to me, you don't know what I like. And I realized, oh, I don't. And so then I was like, well, then who cares if he likes it or not? How am I going to know? So here's some musical magic.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of this whole game. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you're going to like prog or whatever, but I'm just going to send it and we're going to talk about it. So there you go. But yeah, Le Femme was cool. Probably my favorite. I like the vocals. I like the music. I liked the whole vibe of it. It was perfect. It was interesting to listen to, but also you could work with it on and it wouldn't be too much, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So I listened to pretty much everything all the way through. And it was cool because I found that you introduced me to 3 brand new artists that I've never heard of before. So
nice.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Because of course, when you were like, send me an album to listen to, the first thing I thought is, oh, well, let's send you one of my favorite albums in all the history of time. But of course you've heard it because everybody's heard of the most epic music legend, the band Led Zeppelin.
No, I think it's good to send the classics out. What record are you referring to? The first one?
All of them. All of them. All of them.
I didn't know you were a big Zepp head.
Oh, so much. I'm pretty sure my neighbors know, and some days they probably wonder if I listen to anything else. And then my answer would be, no, I don't. Not till my friends send me delightful music.
Oh, yeah. Squeeze that lemon, let the juice run down my leg. Let that juice run down my leg.
I love it. Have you seen, there's a pie chart of what Led Zeppelin songs are about? And it's all sex, hobbits, Vikings,
Lord of the Rings,
and citrus. Because they have 3 songs about citrus, but then those are also about sex.
And then they have a bunch of songs that aren't really songs they wrote, but they sort of adapted. Like the Lemon song is a blues song. Can't remember what. Mm-hmm. Can't remember what the name of the blues song is, but it's not called the Lemon song.
Yeah, lots of their songs are covers of really old, beautiful things. And Gabriel's like, this is all the music I grew up listening to. And I was like, yeah, shut up. You're cooler than me. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't really get sick of Led Zeppelin too often. Sometimes, again, it's like with the vocals, it's like, but you know, I'm a big Zepp. I'm a Zepp guy for sure.
Okay, good to know.
My favorite, when I was a kid, my favorite drumming was Led Zeppelin drumming, John Bonham, pretty much. Ooh. I wanted to be just like John Bonham, which is a really unoriginal goal for a drummer, but I
don't think so.
He's really good. He's a really good drummer, and he really kind of innovated a lot of stuff. So yeah, good times with the Zepp.
I would say that my musical inspiration as a drummer would be my drum teacher, Eric.
Ooh, cat's out of the bag.
No, well, obviously you inspire me. You are delightful and a wonderful human being that I do admire and look up to.
I feel like the cool thing about the music swap was like we were both totally honest about what we did and did not like about the music, instead of being like, yeah, that was good and stuff. But you secretly hated it.
I did. Oh, that didn't even occur to me. I should have sent you something that I hated just for fun. Because obviously you assume that I like all the music I sent you, don't you? But do I?
Whoa, man. My mind.
Yeah, think about that.
Sending me through loop to loop. Ah. Do you have a favorite Muppet?
Well, I've taken the online quiz of what Muppet are you, and I got the answer Janice. And of course, I do like it that she's a hippie little musician. That seems great. But then
Janice is hot.
You're attracted to Muppets? Go on.
Janice is the hottest Muppet.
So I had a sex dream one time about Big Bird. And I think it's important to clarify that in the dream, I also was a Muppet. So, and as far as Muppets go, I don't think that it is such things like it's not interspecies sex or something, because you're all Muppets. And I think Muppet is the species, even though he's a bird Muppet. I don't know. I don't know where the lines are. But it's got to have been about 12 years ago that I had this dream. And it is still so real for me to an uncomfortable degree. You're too silent. Should I stop talking?
Hey, I'm trying to let you get it out, man. This is like therapy sometimes. Tell me about your Big Bird Muppet sex dream.
There's just
you know what though? Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
No, please interrupt me. That's great. Yeah.
Do you know what Muppet I think I look like? It's that blue one with the beak.
I see it. Yeah, and you have this strange blue hue.
I have a blue hue. It rhymes.
No, you don't. Why is it blue?
Blue hue.
Why is it always blue?
I know. I'm a blue guy. I don't know. I think it's the depression. Aww. Joke. But depression is no laughing matter, folks.
No.
But yeah, I think I look like that blue guy. I'll try to find a picture of him and throw it up while we're talking, so
that would be great.
People know what the hell we're talking about. What's that guy's name? I wonder.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna look it up. Blue Muppet, blue bird Muppet. He kind of looks like an eagle. I don't know.
Bird person. No, I can picture him. I don't know a lot of the Muppets' names.
Oh, he's got this crazy eyebrow thing. He's got like a total unibrow. His name's Sam Eagle. Yeah, Sam the Eagle. He is an eagle. I'm Sam the Eagle.
Yeah, you are.
Because I'm super serious and I have big bushy eyebrows. And I love America. And that's it. The end.
Is that the qualities of this Muppet?
Apparently, according to the Google images, yeah, he likes to stand in front of the American flag and be very patriotic.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, now that we got the Muppets out of the way. Dude, okay, so that you have like an Uptown espresso thing up there. It makes me want coffee really bad.
I'm so sorry. I would teleport coffee to you if I had those capabilities.
Teleport it.
Teleport myself to get the coffee to you?
Just teleport the liquid directly into my mouth. Ah. That's what
Wouldn't you stay
said.
up though if you drink coffee this late?
Yeah, but it's exciting. It's fun because we're doing this. So special occasion.
Yeah, okay.
Special occasion. Oh man, I was on Twitter last night. Such a good story beginning, by the way.
I've never been on Twitter.
Yeah,
But go
it's
on.
not very cool.
I
But
understand the
there was
concept.
like a comment where it's like, warning, this might be offensive. And so I clicked on it, obviously. And it was just like a meme of Fiddler on the Roof. I was like, how is this offensive? It's just Jewish people.
Well, what did it say though?
It was them singing that song, Tradition. Tradition.
It doesn't seem offensive. Maybe they just put the filter on there to get people.
Yay. That's how they get you. They got me.
It worked.
Totally worked. Yeah, Twitter is stupid. I don't recommend it.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for your
Yeah.
not recommendation. Based on that alone, I won't use it. Thank you for the great advice from a beautiful blue Muppet.
What's your preferred social media? Instagram?
I really like Instagram because I just want to look at pictures. You know, I don't want to read. I don't want to read words. Sometimes I do. I really enjoy reading, but if I'm on social media to waste some time, just show me pretty things, you know?
I get a lot of reading in on my social media pages, Facebook. When I get that hankering for a good read.
Actually, so if I see something that is absurdly long with lots of words, that piques my interest because I just think you spent all that time typing that all out on this itty bitty little keyboard, so it must be important. You must have had a lot to say.
The
And so the
little bitty
longer it is,
keyboard is that big.
the more likely I am to read it. Yeah. And then I kind of like it when strangers fight on the internet, as long as I'm not a part of it. I don't want to be part of it.
Oh, of course, because the minute you become a part of it, it becomes the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm not emotionally equipped to argue with people online. Not at all.
I don't want to.
I'm barely equipped to argue in person.
I can't think of anything I would argue with you about. Like, have I
Prog
ever
rock.
been mad at you? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's that.
Well, I want to plug your Tumblr again. So what's the URL for that? Do you remember? ipackrattherad.tumblr.
Ipackrattherad. Yeah. Ipackrattherad.tumblr, some backslashes.com, three
Dot
W's, start it all off if you're like 98 and you think that that's a necessary thing to type in.
.edu.
Backslash underscore.
You get educated.
What the fuck is going on? Where are we?
.com. .org.
Backslash forward slash.
.organism.
Can I tell you my favorite thing that I saw on the internet this week?
Please do.
It was just one little image of a time traveler's skeleton floating through space, and it said, it's important to think about how space is littered with the skeletons of all the time travelers that were intelligent enough to figure out time travel, but not smart enough to know that Earth isn't always in the same place.
That's a mind bender. It's a real mind bender.
I had never even thought about that, but then once it was pointed out to me, I was like, oh shit. I would have messed it up.
That's like Star Trek meets Star Wars meets Battlestar Galactica meets Next Generation.
I love time travel. I love it. Anything that has time travel involved, I am so interested. And one week I went on this delightful binge of watching every time travel movie I could possibly find. And I saw some of the weirdest things. And it was amazing. Time travel.
Oh, go ahead.
Time travel.
Have you ever seen The Time Traveler's Wife?
So sorry. I'll be quiet. What?
Have you ever seen The Time Traveler's Wife? I heard that's a good show.
Oh, it is really good. Yeah.
Do you recommend it?
I would very much recommend it, but I believe it's a movie. If they made a TV show about it, I was not aware that it existed, but I'm going to go look it up.
Oh, I guess it is a movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, though.
Can I recommend a really good show to you, though, that has time travel?
Back to the Future?
Is that a TV show? I thought that was a movie. Did they make a TV show?
No, it's a movie. There's 3.
Oh, cool.
So what's the show?
It's called Dark. Have you seen this, or do you know about it?
Dark. I've watched the first few. It's in Dutch, right?
I don't know. Sure.
Is that the one that's in Dutch and then they like dubbed it? Is that what you say? They dubbed it in English?
I know that it's in another language, but I really enjoy watching the overdubbed version, but then I also put on the subtitles because you get this super fun disconnect because it was translated twice by 2 different people. It was translated by the people that wrote the script to be read in English, but then it was translated by somebody else to subtitle it. And it's so much fun for me because you hear one thing and you read another and the meaning's the same, but they don't match up. And so it's just super interesting.
I feel like that happens a lot too with even just stuff in English. They take words out that the guy says or the lady says. So they don't necessarily they're not necessarily congruent.
Right. But
when Look at me with the big vocab there.
More off, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Dark.
Yes, I loved it so much.
Cool.
Amazing. Time travel.
Yeah, I think I watched some of it. It was cool. It was like there were a bunch of kids disappearing, stuff like that. Yeah.
They had a fun portal to a different time.
Oh, yeah. What's your beverage you got there?
I can't tell you. My mom might be watching.
Can't tell me. Of course you can.
Jungle juice. What are you drinking?
Safeway brand.
Oh, there's blood orange in my drink too.
Oh, wow. So I just tried Spindrift recently and it is delicious.
I don't know what that is.
It's sparkly water with juice in it.
Does most sparkly water not have juice?
Not really. It just has flavors.
Okay.
But the Spindrift has like a little bit of juice. So it's like got more flavor, but it's also got like 1 gram of sugar, which is good.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think people use it a lot in alcoholic mixers or as an alcoholic mixer. And I can see why. It's quite zhuzhy. Is that a word? Zhuzhu?
Zhuzh.
It's zhuzh.
I love zhuzh. It starts with a Z.
Zhuzh. This is not zhuzh. This is ghetto. This is fun, though. This tastes good. It's also like just 1 8-pack of Spindrift is like $10 almost, or maybe $8. And then one of those you can get 16 of them for like $3. So
holy crap. Or you know what's really cool? Water's free.
Yeah, I drink a lot of water too. I do. I love it. Love me water. Love me some water.
Me too. Big fan. Huge.
Oh man.
Do you know how much I love water?
Count the ways for me.
So much.
You didn't tell me what you're drinking.
Oh, the souls of young children.
That's quite evil of you.
Yes, quite.
So, speaking of young children, any kiddos on the horizon?
Thank you. That's the second time you've made me yarf in one night. Good job.
I complete you.
Well, somebody needs to complete you because you only have one arm.
I know. I'm the one-armed man. I've got a recorder for an arm. Got a recorder for an arm. All right, we're definitely in the part of the podcast where it's just like two kids in their parents' basement with a microphone and a camera.
Isn't that what it's all supposed to be? Just a couple of friends hanging out. Didn't you tell me that to make me less uncomfortable so that I would even be willing to do this?
Oh yeah, this is all just purely for fun. Shits and grins.
Wonderful. I think you're fun, and I always treasure any time that we get to spend together. And I think you knew that, and you used it against me to get me here.
Yay!
It's important that you use your powers for good. Just remember that.
So are you gonna be ready for your drum lesson tomorrow?
No, probably not. I might sleep through it. 4 p.m. Just a little too early for me to wake up and have my shit together.
Still got the... Let's take it home. Let's get some recorders going here. Do you know where yours is?
I do, but it's not handy.
Well, what do you got handy? Do you have a tambourine, tambo?
I'm the closest to a piano, but I can't bring that into my kitchen. But
what about accordion?
Tambourine. No, that's in the basement right now, so that's a little bit far away.
Let's jam. What you got? You got a kazoo?
Oh, dude. So, did you ever meet the guy that made the digital pickle? Do you know what I'm talking about? Or are you familiar with such a magical device?
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah. I don't remember who he was. I would love to find out because I want one. So if anybody ever watches this and knows the magical young man that digitizes toys, he made a digital pickle and he let me borrow it. And I got to play with his pickle for a while, but then I had to give it back. But I want one. I've always wanted one. And back then he told me he would make me one. All I had to do was provide the pickle. And the base of it is a yodeling pickle from Archie McPhee's, probably for not much money. And I own 2 of them now. I'm fully prepared with my yodeling pickles to get them digitized by this delightful young man. But I don't remember who he is. But he's out there.
Can I jam with your pickles?
Yes, absolutely yes. Anytime.
How about right now?
They're in a box in the basement. They're not. You didn't tell me to come with toys and sound making machines.
Well, can you sing a song?
I could perhaps shake a jar of pasta rhythmically.
Perfect.
Do you want bow tie or penny?
Ooh, bow tie.
Good choice. That's the one I grabbed. It wasn't really up to you.
The illusion of choice. Okay, here we go. We're going to take it home. Okay. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Yay. Lezel, thank you so much for joining me today.
Eric, I love and treasure you. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I adore you as well.
Thank you for knowing me.
Okay. To everyone out there in the internet land, thanks for joining us for this fantastical nonsense. Please visit Lezel's Tumblr, ipackrattherad.organism.
And keep your eyes peeled for the magnificent debut someday of the psychedelic surf rock band, Blah Blah and the ha-has.
Perfect. All right. I hope to see you tomorrow, Lezel, and have a good night.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.